Halo Infinite Legendary walkthrough. This is part 2 of the Nexus mission, which is a very lengthy mission, and we're going to be defeating these hunters today as well as running into sentinels a little bit later in the video. So this room of hunters is kind of akin to the earlier Halo games, or at least Halo 1, where the first time you run into hunters, it's just you versus the hunters. That was outdoors though, and they died to one pistol shot, so times still have changed. But luckily these hunters aren't nearly as hard as the hunters outside. They really feel a lot closer to the older Halo game hunters. They have much slower, much more earlier Halo game shots. They don't have the giant arcing mortars and the super speed Gatling gun bullets that they have when they're outdoors. And they're not really super hard because it's pretty easy to get your shields back just by hiding behind some cover, and they don't seem too interested in ganging up on you or even rushing you and meleeing you. If you get close to them, they will do that. And as you can see, I'm having a really hard time with this shotgun. I really am not a fan of this shotgun in this game. Even on multiplayer, I struggle a lot with it, but I'm trying to figure out some way just to get behind this hunter's back, or you can just pepper him with bullets forever to his face, and if you kind of jump over them, we can get some good shots on his back, which I did manage to break his armor off, and I'm just missing every bullet there because that's just how it is. And kind of how I said right there, like, I feel like I should have died to a melee attack, and I'm kind of realizing these hunters aren't super interested in meleeing me. And in fact, that guy was so uninterested, I was able to grapple onto him and melee him to death, which is something I didn't think I would ever do to a hunter in this game. So now we have one hunter left, and there's weapons on a lot of the areas of this room that I should be picking up and using instead, especially if there is a needler. Needlers are really good against these hunters. So I think, like, I'm starting to run out of ammo. I'm gonna let my shields come back here, and maybe I'll take a look at what weapons there are. There's some cubes we can throw. That'll kind of hurt him, but doesn't really do a whole lot of damage to him. And I'm just gonna use my drop wall, very useful weapon or ability. And then it's just this one singular hunter that's left. And I think I probably died there a few times. Like I said earlier, or if I didn't say it, I'm saying it now. I really did make this a lot harder on myself. So there's a lot easier ways to take this guy out. So maybe don't do exactly what I'm doing, but I'm gonna run over here in a wide circle. Let's see if I can find, yes, the Ravager. Okay, this should help a little bit, and let's see if I can do some damage to him now. Remember, the Ravager can charge up, which is actually one of the harder multiplayer achievements, I thought anyway, to get. And then I got some grenades from somewhere. I'm going to stick him with them, and then just try to spam the Ravager. The hard part is that, like, they have that giant shield up front, so it's kind of bad to just shoot him with things right from the right to their face, especially on Legendary, because you're going to be running out of ammo all the dang time. And I was trying to be cheeky there. I think that was actually a bit of a mistake. I don't think I wanted to go that far over to him. And then he decides to walk on through my shield. He just doesn't care. And this guy is going to be a little bit harder to kill than the last one was, but I think I'm getting there. It's like on Legendary, these guys are just bullet sponges. All they want to do is just absorb all your bullets, and that's it. And then I'm gonna let my shields regenerate. Like, the first hunter was hardly using his Gatling shot, but this guy's using it all the dang time. And I got more grenades, and I don't think this area is really gonna let you run out of ammo. I think it's gonna keep spawning weapons, so you don't really have to worry about that, but still, you do want to try to keep a hold of him. And I don't know why the heck this feels like I'm struggling so bad with this stupid hunter. Maybe there just are no good weapons in here to kill him with, but we'll just pepper their heads for an eternity. And at long last, this guy should be dead in a couple of seconds. I'm really just trying to stall here. The rest of the video is a lot more interesting, believe me. Okay, the rest of the video, it looks like I know what I'm doing way more than it does right here. Man, I didn't realize this was this slow. I would have sped this up. Oh well, I'm already in it. So he's going to be dead soon. And there he goes. Finally. Jeez. I don't know why I struggled so bad with that. Holy moly, I don't remember that. I edited these videos in like a day, and I just kind of skimmed through it. I probably should have paid a little bit more attention to this fight, but okay. The rest of the fights won't look that bad. I guarantee it. Alright. Believe me. And once we're done, we're just going to head on over to this terminal. We're going to get something that reminds me a lot of Halo 2.
That's different. What now?
Down.
That was fun. Want to do it again?
And then we're going to drop into this room here. So I was actually wondering, are we ever going to see gondolas in Halo? Because pretty much every game, except like Halo 1 and maybe some of the others in between, but like pretty much every game since Halo 2 had some kind of gondola mission where you had to get on a moving platform. And we are going to get that soon, so if you are missing those, they are here. There's a Sentinel, and as I've said before, you may have already seen them in the open world. They are out there in some places, but they're pretty weak even to human weapons, except when you're actually fighting a bunch of them at the same time. So here we're going to see there's a Cinder Shot, which I just don't think is super useful on Legendary, and also 2 Sentinel Beams. So my hearty recommendation is to pick up those Sentinel Beams right now, and not worry so much about using your ballistic weapons on the Sentinels, because they are just really strong to them. Or they're really defensive to your human weapons, but they're really weak to their own guns. So there's a gondola in front of us. We're going to head on over there, and you're going to notice there's a lot of floating Sentinels. And the Sentinels on Legendary are still a little scary, but really only if you get like 3 of them shooting you at once. If you have 1 or 2, it's pretty hard to die to them. And there's going to be 2 weapon racks that are on either side of this little terminal, and we're going to activate the gondola, and then we're going to pick up a Sentinel Beam. You could use a shock rifle, that'll make them drop out of the sky, but we're going to use the Sentinel Beam because it has 650 ammo, and it can fire for a pretty long time, and it can fire really far away. So it's really strong against these Sentinels, and you may want to burst fire if you're not super accurate with it just to save ammo. And if you wait for the Sentinels to get closer to you, as they drop down, they will often drop Sentinel Beam ammo. So we have ammo on this weapon rack as well as on the one to our left side. And I'll be running over there in a second. So I'm trying to kill most of the Sentinels before they reach me, and it's just because we want to be able to move the gondola far enough down this corridor that we get a checkpoint. And I think at some point Sentinels will come behind me, or maybe they flew behind me later, I'm not really sure. All I know is I did die to a Sentinel behind me once, so that's why you see me looking behind me sometimes. And we're just going to make sure that we don't really let them get too close to us. And if you kind of just move the aimer up and down on their light, that seems to be a pretty consistent way of hitting them very accurately and killing them very quickly. So there's our first checkpoint. I think I died probably 3 or 4 times on this part just because I was managing the Sentinel Beam very badly. And we're going to use the pulse rifle if we absolutely have to, but I'll just run over and get some ammo. And be sure to keep this thing reloaded. It does take a little while to reload the Sentinel Beam, so when you get a kill and there's no enemies around, be sure to just let it recharge. And the pulse rifle, not the plasma rifle, the pulse rifle is still very strong against Sentinels. They are very weak against plasma weapons. I don't know how they fare against plasma pistols, but that weapon is just so sad in this game, I don't really use it too often. And there's going to be kind of a small wave of Sentinels here, so we're just going to try to kill them and try to keep ourselves from getting overwhelmed. And the Sentinel Beam, it shoots so far away. Like, you can kill these guys when they're so dang far away from you. And see, I got a checkpoint there, and there's a Sentinel right behind me that I'm eventually going to notice, I think. If I'm looking at my radar. I don't think I'm looking at my radar at all. Like, he's like, there he is. Now he's over to the left. So even he couldn't find me. Yeah, I mean, this game gives you checkpoints in the middle of boss fights, so it's very weird. I don't really know what the heck the checkpoint system is in Halo games. I barely understand it in the others. I hardly understand it in this one, but hey, it makes a lot of the stuff a lot easier, so why not? Okay, so that should be nearing the end of the gondola, and there's really just going to be a little bit more walking and some Sentinel fighting, and then a pretty lengthy cutscene, at least in comparison to some of the previous ones. So that's it for me in this video. This is Nexus Part 2. The next one will be Nexus Part 3, and that'll finally be the end of the Nexus mission.
This way. this place. All the spires, interconnected. Just waiting to become something more. So much potential. It's exquisite.
It's dangerous.
Of course, I'm not suggesting we change the plan, but you can see it, right?
All I see is problem.
I don't believe that. A part of you must recognize the grandeur of this achievement. You're not a machine. You can't be that closed off. What will it take for you to trust me?
Spire first.
If you say so. Would it surprise you if I said it wasn't going to be simple? Don't answer that. The lift's been disabled, presumably to slow us down. We're going to need to power it back up.